Okay, so now we're going to talk about finding your first unit and deciding which areas are the best for you. So we're going to go over a basic research method that I just coined as a geographic research method because we are using the geographic landscape to determine whether or not we're going to be interested in that area. But basically, deciding where you start does not need to be complicated. Any concerns you have about will Airbnb work here will be gone after this segment. Now, keep in mind that this is a business run globally, and it's completely up to you where you want to start. It may cost more to have more things automated if you decide to do one remotely, but it's all what makes sense for you individually. My recommendation would be to start in your backyard, meaning where you currently live. When you are getting into new things, I believe it's always best to be present until you are confident in the business. Once you're confident in the business, you can scale out and run things remotely and do things however you want. But up front, I highly recommend that you do what you can to stay present. And we'll talk about this much more in one of the later lessons called the success variable. But if you can remain present in this business, success is basically guaranteed. So I recommend starting in your backyard if it makes sense for you, if you can, if you're in an area where that makes sense. Also note that it does not need to be a beachfront property to be an Airbnb. It does not need to be a vacation rental. Airbnb is way more than vacation rentals. This is a modern day hotel, and people travel for thousands of reasons. So get the idea out of your head that you're only appealing to people who are going to go on vacation. We'll talk more about this in the Know Your Audience lesson, where we're specifically talking about your audience and who you're targeting. But for now, just know that people travel for thousands of reasons, and you're not just looking in vacation spots. Anywhere can work with Airbnb. And I'm going to show you how you can quickly and effectively do research in any area with a little bit of common sense and only using a map like Google Maps here. Do not overthink this. The best areas to do Airbnb are not mysteries. If you open up Google Maps and just start looking around, it does a pretty good job of showing you what's in the area. Go to any city and look around Google Maps. Ask some of the following questions. Is there a sports team here? Do they have a stadium? Why would people need to travel here? Is there a high school, restaurants, hospitals? What else is going on here that may make people want to travel? Are there other hotels? Is there a Starbucks on every corner or another large franchise all over the place? If you can't logically come up with reasons people would be traveling to a given area by using Google Maps and point of interests on Google Maps, then it's probably not a good location. But the overall outcome you're trying to come is a determination if there's enough demand in that area to rent out. So a key concept in this basic research is understanding a principle that large companies with billions of dollars have research and development teams with thousands of employees, and they typically know where the busy places are, aka the places with high demand. So we're going to use their research to our benefit. If there's a Starbucks on every corner for a 3-mile radius, that means Starbucks, the company, has deemed that there's enough demand there to make each of these stores profitable. The more demand, the more people. The more people, the more need for your B&B. Starbucks is just an example, but you could use anything else, any other large business, and specifically other hotels. Do you think multi-million-dollar hotels think there's enough demand in that area to operate? Then so can you, because these people are doing the research in that area, determining whether or not it's going to be profitable. And if it's profitable for them, it can be profitable for you. We can take those people right from the hotels and bring them to our Airbnb instead, because we're going to provide better service, better prices, overall better experience. Another great idea is just to Google where you want to travel or where you want to visit or any other desired location. You can say, where should I go in Florida? Where should I go in New York? Where should I go in LA? Where should I go in San Diego? Where should I go in Texas, Houston? Wherever it is, just Google that. Travel articles online outlining the best attractions in any given city are abundant, and a quick read will spark many ideas on where to go. You can look up, hey, where do I want to go in Florida? You're going to get 100 different articles, all from different bloggers, all talking about specific points of interest in the area. They may be talking about the local beach. They might be talking about the restaurants in the area. Whatever it is they're talking about, they're going to give you ideas for why this area might be good. If you're looking in a city and you see a top attraction is an amusement park, that's great. Let's get as close to that as possible, because you can capitalize on filling the need for a very specific attraction. Oftentimes, you'll find that these bloggers will identify one spot and do all the work for you to find out why it's a good place. And people these days are not afraid to write bad reviews, So if there's anything to be cautious of, you're going to find that out too by reading these blogs and getting a better understanding of the areas that you're looking in through the lens of someone in that area who's writing a blog on that area. So I have this map up open here. We're just going to do a brief example of everything that I just described. So let's just zoom in. Let's just say we're interested in Vero Beach. I mean, anything waterfront is really a pretty good idea. So let's just go in the middle here and whatever this area is. So we zoom in here, we got a hospital, we have a funding center. What is this? It's a big venue hall, 2,000 reviews. I see some restaurants here. A museum, visitor center, another museum, skate world. There's some other things there. Mobile home park. This might be a little bit of a dingy area. A hotel right here. A mall, Target. So over here we got a lot of action over here. Restaurants, a Lowe's, malls, Sam's Clubs. This is definitely a busy area over here. If I were to be looking somewhere over here, this is where I would typically try to gravitate. There's a lot going on over here. There's a lot of reasons people may travel here. As you can see, the hotel put themselves right at the intersection of the main highway. That is not by accident. Obviously, people traveling and getting on and off exits want easy access to the highway. So that's why the hotels put themselves right there. And like I said, if it's a good spot for a hotel, people are working there. If it's working out for them, it can work out for you as well. We have another hotel over here, or maybe not. Maybe that's just a lodging facility. But yeah, I would try to stay somewhere around here. Ideally, for me, this area doesn't really do much because I like to find areas that personally I like to be in and I don't mind traveling to, intending to if I have to. But if you're asking me if Airbnb would work here, the answer is absolutely yes. There's a ton going on here, and I'll use this example, this exact town, and another lesson when I'm talking about using AirDNA, just to show you that AirDNA will deem this place as probably a pretty good area right here specifically. And you know what, just for the sake of the lesson, I'll sign into that so we can say, just to confirm my theory based on this geographic research method, that even this place in the middle of Florida, I've never heard of personally, Lakeland, maybe it's popular, but even a place like this, just by zooming in, searching, you can look around, see what's there, and get a pretty good idea that it's going to be a good bet. So let's test that theory and use our analytics tool, which we'll get into more depth on later, to see exactly if that is a good spot or if my method is completely useless. Let's let this log in. And we're going to zoom out here. We're going to find Lakeland, which was up here by Tampa. There we are. And see if we can zoom in from there. Okay, Lakeland. Lakeland, Florida. See, it's not very difficult to determine exactly what the good spots are going to be. Like I said, we're just kind of using our logic and our basic sense. This has an A, which is a pretty good rating for AirDNA to give out. Like I said, we'll go over this much more in the future lessons. You can click around here and see other spots, but we'll go over that. I just wanted you guys to see that this software, which is a great software for determining whether or not a place is a good place to invest, can be easily backed up by just using your common sense. We're looking at this from a map view. We see, okay, I mean, there's a ton of roads passing through here. There's clearly somewhat of a city here. And it obviously looks like there's some reasons that people may be traveling there. Like I said, we got shopping centers, we got other hotels. It's a busy area down here. A lot of streets, a lot of residences. People could be visiting family. It makes sense that this would be an A. I bet you if we came over here to Wakula or Zolfo Springs or Moffitt or Gardner, it's not going to be very good. You do have some golf courses here, so maybe you can appeal to someone who's just looking to go to this specific golf course, but that's a long shot and probably not going to do very good for you. So use your common sense, re-listen to this lesson a few times so you can hear everything I said over and over again, and get on Google Maps and just use your basic common sense to determine if it's a good area for you using the geographic method. Next, we're going to go into the reverse method, the reverse research method on the next lesson. So I'll see you guys there, and I hope this was useful for you.